Hello, I am not Chris Johnson. I'm Kathy Eager, Senior Consultant with PSC Group. Chris got pulled away, probably by his kids, so I'm going to take over this video of a day in the life of Office 365. As you know, if you watched parts 1 and 2, Chris talked about the 4 pillars of the modern workplace: collaboration, communication, intelligence, and automation. Here in part 3, we're going to take a deeper dive into communication. When you and the rest of your team or company aren't physically in the office, like many of us are right now, good communication is critical. Now, Chris already talked about Teams and many of the ways Teams can be used for organizational communication. As he showed in part 1, Teams can display items directly from SharePoint. He also briefly touched on news digests and other documents and how to share them in email and Teams, 2 great ways of communicating and accessing content. There is, of course, another way. We're going to take a look at our PSC News portal to see company and organizational communication in action.
In most organizations, when sharing communication, you likely have a few producers and several consumers. For example, someone in HR needs to post a policy update that all employees need to be able to access. As an employee at PSC Group, I'm one of those many consumers. So putting on my employee hat, I go to our PSC News portal and see if there are any news listings or events that I need to know about. Here we see lots of news. We can see it comes from various sources, even other sites and pages like MyPSC and PSC Labs, in addition to the PSC News portal, and of course from other authors as well. News and events can be attractively laid out using web parts, layouts, images, etc. Here's that video from John Quirk that Chris showed us on Microsoft Stream. Chris showed it as a link in a Teams chat, but we also see it here as a news link. With this news layout, it takes center stage and gets my attention as something I should probably look at. Oh, and here's that item that Chris posted, describing the roles and responsibilities. I should probably take a look at that as well. Now, just like in news items, we can see in events that they can come from various sources as well. We have an event here from our philanthropic committee, as well as items from PSC News and MyPSC. Now, as I mentioned before, someone like an HR director would be one of the few producers of content. Let's pretend for a minute I'm one of those producers. Putting on my producer hat, I can add news or events for our employees to access, as well as changing the layout of this portal, add new sources, or other content changes. Now, adding an event is as easy as clicking Add Event. If I were to log in as someone else, I wouldn't be able to do that. And of course, in addition to site permissions, you could add approval workflows as well. So again, adding an event, I click on it, I update it, I hit save, and it would be added. It's that simple. Notice as a producer, I also have this edit button and page details and new. So here I could add a new post or a new news link. I want to change the layout of this site. The first thing I think I'd like to do is get rid of this section down here. It's one of the defaults from Microsoft Lookbooks templates, which are a great way to jumpstart and making an attractive portal, but we're not using this section, so let's delete it. That was easy. I would also like to move events up above industry news. These are external links. I think people are more interested in PSC events first, so I'm going to move it. And the last thing I want to take a look at is this industry news section. I'm not sure that I like the layout of it, so maybe I'm going to change it. Click Edit, click on the part I want to look at, and now I can see they're currently shown in a film strip. I'm not really sure I want that. Maybe list? No, that's too boring. Tiles? I don't really like that in this layout. Maybe buttons? Compact. You know what? I think film strip's best, so I'm going to stick with that. But let's publish our other changes. And there you go, we've republished it. And now events come before industry news on our site. Of course, communication isn't just one way from content producers, like HR directors, to consumers, employees. Sometimes employees need to give feedback as well. Through the magic of television, I will show us this portal where I'm now logged in as one of our employees. So I put my employee hat back on. And I can click on this. So again, you'll notice no edit button, nothing over here. But I click on an item. I can read that item. As far as feedback, I can like it and I can give it a comment.
So that was part 3, a brief but deeper dive into communication, consuming and producing news in a portal. We access news and events from multiple sources and authors in one attractive site. We easily updated the layout of that site and saw how easy it is to add content to the portal. Stay tuned for more videos in a day in the life of Office 365. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.